Greetings, citizens! Justiguy has arrived and returned to a song of sunlight. We are in the terminal threshold. So I guess the threshold of the terminal? A terminal, which would imply here we might... Oh boy. Oh boy. You alright? He's probably not. He's still probably having flashbacks to the last time he had a big fall. After crossing the small bridge, I stopped just short of the doorway to the next structure. Just to its left, a small post rose from the ground. It was decorated with strange symbols. A sign? Maybe. There were two lines of text. Stratum, 1345. Permitted gene purity. Purity. Greater than 94.6%. Oh, God. I don't have a single idea what it might mean. Oh god, I hope the ancestors here are not, like, way stronger. At the far end of the room was a strange, hanging figure. I approached it carefully. It was unmoving, but I knew already not to trust that... What the hell is that? As I finally came close enough to see it more clearly, I realized that it was indeed an ancestor. What I assumed to be its head was fixated on me. It followed my motions as I came near, rotating slightly so that it was always facing me. It's like a motion camera then. It was limp and seemed almost to be hanging from the ceiling, hanging in front of a great sealed doorway. I stopped what I considered to be a safe distance away and observed. It's guarding it, right? It doesn't seem to have any weapons. I mean, its hands are weapons. No arms or teeth. Well, okay. I took a careful step forward, and immediately it spoke. This stratum is no record of your biometric identity. Okay, so I'm guessing what happened is civilization got super advanced, died out, and, you know, that kind of deal. Present your gene identity card immediately. Its voice echoed through the empty hall. It was both colder and more archaic than the scout's. Another one that can speak, if it's harmless like that scout was. Okay, that's a big if. I might get more information. That is big and scary. And it does kind of have teeth. You can speak then, ancestor? Are you a soldier type? I am not. I represent the terminal authority for this stratum. Present me with your gene identity card. I will ask this question 2 more times before I consider you uncooperative. Identity card? I don't have anything like that. I'm looking for the humans. Humans that used to live here. Where did they go? Which type of human are you referring to? Present me with your gene identity card. I will ask this question 1 more time before I consider you uncooperative. I already told you, ancestor. I don't have what you're looking for, okay? Just never mind about the humans. An elevator. Do you know where the nearest one is? There is a single elevator located several dozen strata below this one. Present me with your gene identity card. Stop asking that. I can't help you, whatever it is you want. It's below here? Fine. Let me by and I'll be on my way. You are uncooperative. I will be taking your biometric data immediately. I don't like that. Suddenly, there was a blinding flash of light, and I covered my eyes instinctively. When I opened them again, I saw that the ancestor was much closer than before. It extended its body so that its head was several inches from my own. I quickly stepped backwards, immediately on edge. The purity of your archimantic genes are under 3%, it said coldly. You are not qualified for access to even the lowest strata. Furthermore, you are not considered human under the law of partition. I felt my heart begin to race. What are you saying? I said, my instincts telling me that I was a danger. There was a faint sound then. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. I heard it echo all around me as I reached for my weapon. The minimum acceptable gene purity of this stratum is over 94. Oh my god. 6% an inch. It's continued inching closer. I took another slow step backward. You have committed the crime of trespassing above your permitted living area. Out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed motion. I tore my gaze to the side and saw long metal fingers wrapping around a nearby windowsill. I spun my head around and saw the same from the doorway at my back. Lithe metal limbs twisted through, wrapping around from outside the structure and scraping long and dense into the stone walls with their blade-tipped fingers. My heart dropped and my stomach twisted as it dawned on me. I was completely surrounded. Your sentence in accordance with the law of partition is execution without trial. The words barely registered. I looked side to side rapidly, watching ancestors crawl in from all the openings of the room. They carried weapons of various kinds, cables attached to the back of their heads that seemed to stretch out of sight. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking. 3 ancestors, nearly double my standing height, now stood in the room surrounding me. The way I'd come was blocked. I have no choice. It's fight or die. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Okay, this does look like it might be doable. I'll give it that. Shit. Also, the music is fucking awesome. Shit, 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 shit. Shit, shit, shit. Come on, give me a turn to heal. Give me a turn to heal, please. Shit! Oh, I'm fucked. Terminal Warden and Terminal Knights. Jesus Christ. Are we about to have to enter a grinding arc? That music was really fucking good, though. But let me grab my stuff before triggering the... What's happening? Forgot about that. Probably a bad move. Yeah, bad move. Shit. Damn it. Alright, we are going to level a little. Let me check. Not that button. I want... Did I not get any of the things that increase the drops? I thought I did. Item drop rate. Oh, right. Okay. Let's equip these. And equip these, I guess. Oh, dang it. Why? Oh, that was a red one. Oops. Oh, I'm in trouble. Okay, that wasn't bad, though. While we're at it, let's... You know, this has been here since chapter 1, and we still don't have anything for it, which is interesting, but alright. Knockback, anyway. Try these. Shit! I pushed the really wrong button for that. I don't even have enough to attack now. That sucks. God damn it. We're dead. Jesus. Okay, we're going back to the short sword. That did not go very well at all. Could upgrade the sword with a couple. All right, we'll do that. Pick up my stuff and upgrade the sword. Provided I don't die. Damn it. Okay, well that's enough now to level it up, so... Wait a minute. I didn't want to do that though, did I? then in that case, we'll have to level up my stamina next. Doing slightly more damage, I guess. Shit. Not enough to level up, but I mean, we could just do this over and over again, I guess. I feel like that's kind of all I can do right now, you know? Maybe resistance is what I should have. Yeah, fuck it. Let's try again. What could go wrong? Heh heh heh. Shit. Shit, that was my bad. My bad again. I'm in gamer mode. I shouldn't have done that. Damn it! Heal. Damn it! Ooh, wrong way. Oh, I thought that was me. Slow. Ooh, wrong way. Damn it! Damn it! Absolutely doable, though. Oh shit, I still have this on! Let's try that again. Try it again. Try it again. Shit. Shit. No! There were items I could have gotten to deal with electricity, too, weren't there? Or those longer turn time ones. Shit, I shouldn't have done that. Holy fuck, I'm amazing. I'm goated with the sauce. Guys, oh my god, I'm so cool. Seconds after the final ancestor was down, the echo of scraping mechanical hands and feet returned. I took rapid, shallow breaths. The adrenaline for the fight still coursing through me. Comparing my eyes to the nearby window, I saw the distant shape of dozens of ancestors crawling along outside the buildings, rapidly approaching. Do not leave this room. You are to remain until your sentence is fulfilled. I heard the voice of the terminal authority behind me. Realizing this might be my only chance to run, I sprinted for the now clear doorway. I made it to the small exterior walkway between the two buildings in the direction I'd come. My heart was beating out of my chest, but just as I began my dash across the short bridge, the sound of metal scraping against stone echoed above me. I whipped my head around and saw an ancestor perched atop the roof of the building just above the doorway, waiting in ambush. Comprehending the incoming attack much too late, I tried in desperation to turn around fully and raise my shield. There was a rush of air. My entire body erupted in pain. An ancestor had thrown itself from the roof directly at me, its claws outstretched. Its center of mass had narrowly missed my body as I turned to avoid it, which was the only thing that had kept me from plummeting to my death off the side of the bridge. Its blade-tipped fingers, however, had torn through my clothing, leaving deep gashes across my chest. My menage was ripped clean through, nearly coming apart. I came to my knees hard, an arc of crimson blood spraying from my torso and staining the ground. The ancestor fell rapidly, its torso shattering into pieces that collided with a staircase dozens of feet below. I cried out. The pain was so great that I could barely keep my eyes open. But a voice in my head was screaming at me, my own voice. I need to keep running. There are dozens more like the three I barely managed to destroy seconds behind me. I need to run. Just run, now! In a daze, I managed to stand, holding one arm to the wounds on my chest, blood seeping from between my fingers and onto the ground. I felt dizzy. With every ounce of strength I had, I continued my labored sprint back the way I'd come. I ran and I climbed, all the while I bled. The sound of mechanical footsteps seemed to always be around the corner. I was certain that if I stopped running for even a second, they would catch me and carry out my sentence. So I kept running and running, until at some point, I realized I'd made it back to the surface passageway. I listened, and the sound of my pursuers had faded. I prayed desperately that I had lost them. I struggled to the top of the staircase where Tala sat waiting and collapsed to my knees. Tala, I choked out. My head raced, trying to think of what I could possibly say that would explain my current state. I clutched my chest tightly, blood still dripping from between my fingers. There's nothing. This isn't like that night before the festival. I can't walk this off. I'm going to die if I don't do anything about it right now. Tala got to his feet, his eyes widening in shock. Aram, he exclaimed, coming quickly to me. What in God's name? With my free hand, I reached into my bag and pulled out my wound kit, throwing it to the ground in front of me. It's not good, Tala, I managed, my voice coming out choked. You have to help me. I've lost a lot of blood. If you help me. Without another word, he scrambled to pick up my wound kit, reaching for his own as well. He dug through them both, pulling out the supply of gauze we carried. Aram, you need to show me the wound, he said, his voice grim. I lifted my arm and showed him the terrible state of my chest. Long, deep cuts ran across my pectorals from under my collarbone to just below my ribs. My shirt was torn to shreds. Tala went pale and began unwrapping the gauze. Aram, he said, fear in his voice, this won't be enough. Our field wound kits aren't meant for injuries like this. You need stitches and medicine. You need the hospice. He began wrapping the gauze around my chest. I cried out in pain. His words began to dawn on me. If I go to the hospice, it's over. I'll be exposed. Tala could corroborate whatever lie I could come up with, but they'd ask the other sentries too. Fuck, not like this, not yet. No, I managed, trying to hide the panic in my voice. I can't, they'll find out. They'll find out, Tala. Just then, another sickening thought occurred to me. My menage, it's in tatters. I managed to shrug it off my shoulders. My menage. It's ruined. They'll see it, Tala. I began hyperventilating. Just then, Tala finished another layer of gauze, which was already soaked through. Aram, he said carefully, if you don't get real medical attention soon, you're going to die. Maybe it's time. Time you finally come clean. He put both his hands on my shoulders. Aram, this has gone on long enough, hasn't it? Please, you'll die. With the little strength I had, I shoved him off. Aram, no! Keep your voice down. They'll hear us. How could you even suggest that? If I'm caught, all of this was for nothing. Aram, look at yourself. There's just no way we can handle this alone. You have got to go to the hospice. Shut up. It hasn't come to that. Pain, exhaustion, panic were taking hold of me. I've been through all of this. He wants me to give it all up now? I felt my blood boil. You've still got blood left too, Boyle. You won't get a foot outside the door before the other sentries see your clothes. I'll, switch menashes with me. What? I'll wear yours. That'll never work. How will I explain the torn, bloody menage I'd be wearing? Make a new one. Archimancy. I'm not good enough. You have to do it, please. I'm not much better, Aram. I'm an entire menage. I don't think I could even come... You can't be. Fix mine then. Make a needle and a thread. I don't care what you do. Just fucking help me! I shoved my torn, bloody menage into Tala's arms. He stared at it blankly as I came to my feet, shaking. Please, I begged, my voice no more than a whimper. After a long moment, finally Tala nodded. He shrugged off his own menage and handed it to me. I did my best not to scream as I slowly put it around my shoulders, the motion sending waves of pain across my body. I'll try, Aram, he said weakly. I'll try. And with that, I stumbled out into the night, leaving the two sentries in the garden behind without a single word. I heard them call out to me in confusion as I left as quickly as I could manage, but I ignored them. Instead, with every ounce of strength I had left, I went into the settlement and tried to think of a plan. Bro, you're gonna get yourself killed. Think, Aram. Where can I get the things I need? I tried my best to focus on just that. What if I could have even used my limited medical training to make use of whatever I managed to find? No, not find. Steal. I'll have to. As I walked briskly down the darkened streets, I realized how many more peacekeepers were on patrol than usual. It's the famine. They're looking for anyone trying to steal food in the dead of night. Fuck! I quickly came into sight of the hospice itself. There were wound bearers outside the doorway. The hopelessness of the situation began to dawn on me. There's no way I could break in. Steal the things I need. Not in my condition. I moved on quickly, hiding in the shadow of buildings whenever a peacekeeper drew near. The hospice will be the most heavily guarded. Maybe one of the other workshops. I must keep some medicine on hand. They have to. I picked up my pace, getting closer to the settlement's edge. A workshop would come into sight. And quickly I'd notice guards, one after the next. All of them were guarded. Please, not like this. Soon I was running, with all I could muster. Oh God above. The empty fields of the plantation quickly approached. There has to be one. Please. But before I even realized, I had left the settlement behind. I realized that my pace had slowed to a walk. In my mind, I was running. But a walk was all my body could manage, so I walked along the dirt path, quietly sobbing. This is really it, isn't it? I have nowhere left to turn. Nothing I can do. Structure came into sight. It was a small shed, one used by the plantation to store tools. I stared at it. I couldn't accomplish anything. I'm worthless. Completely worthless. Tears rolled off my chin and fell into the dirt, mixing with the blood. Suddenly, I was very tired. The only thing on my mind was finding somewhere to lie down. This shed. I'll go inside and lie down. Close my eyes, and I reached for the curtain, drawing it aside. Aram? Uh-oh. Please don't tell me this is like where Sachi lives. My entire body froze. Slowly, I turned around, and the sight of the person behind me made my blood go cold. Standing there was Prava. What are you... She began, but slowly her eyes grew wide in shock as she saw me. Tala's menage was doing little to obscure my torn and bloody clothing with my arm lifted. Quickly, I tried to drop it and obscure my body, but Prava took a step forward and caught my arm. Oh my God, she said, going pale. What happened to you? The exhaustion came in a sudden wave, and I felt light on my feet. I fell to my side and into the shed, landing hard on a pile of biscuits. I cried out in pain. Prava rushed inside after me, gasping in horror as she saw the state I was in. Aram, she screamed. What happened? It's over. It was nothing, I sputtered out. Even hearing the words from my own mouth, I was ashamed. The lengths I'm going to keep this secret. It's going to kill me. Aram, Prava's voice was severe. Tell me what happened to you right now. I shook my head weakly. Nothing, I managed. Prava stood deathly still, staring me down. Aram, if you don't tell me what happened, I'm going to bring Kanari here right now. I'll bring Sachita too. I swallowed hard. Perhaps if it had been any other threat, not that. Somehow she knew the only thing that would force my hand in this situation. Sachita can't know. I have to say it. Suddenly, I was talking. I don't remember what I had planned to tell her. But as soon as I began, I couldn't stop. Everything. That day I'd seen Riash and Kian die. How I'd gone after Tala into the well and hadn't stopped going back. Night after night, I'd wandered aimlessly, tearing through ancestors and how I'd found myself in a terrible situation, one that nearly cost me my life on the spot. The fact that the minash I was wearing wasn't my own, and how I'd arrived in my present condition, bleeding out in a shed alone. After I'd stopped, Prava went quiet for a long time. Prava, I said eventually, please, you have to help me. And suddenly, Prava sprung into action, quickly helping me take off Tala's minash. She examined the state of my gauze and shook her head. There was a soft glow of indigo light, and after a moment she was holding fresh new bandages in her hands. Putting them aside, Prava turned and quickly ran off, leaving me alone in the shed. She returned several minutes later, carrying a bundle of medical supplies under her minash. Where did you? I began to choke out, but before she cut me off. The kiln, she said quietly. I told the peacekeepers I'd left my mother's precious necklace inside. I lied. We keep a small supply of medicine on hand for accidents. It's nothing like what they have at the hospice, but... Prava began to undress my wound, and I had to struggle not to cry out. The motion brought tears to my eyes. She uncapped a small ceramic jar and held it over me. This is going to hurt. Quickly upturning the jar, she poured what I assumed to be an antiseptic all across my chest. I screamed and felt my body convulsed involuntarily. Prava put her hands on me firmly to keep me still. She brought out another small jar, which she motioned for me to drink. I don't want to interrupt, but this creates so many interesting dynamics going forward that it's Prava, the one who knows our secret, and if we don't share it, then we've got a secret between ourselves and Kanari, and he's got complexes about himself, and this is getting good, guys. Not that it wasn't already for the pain. I gulped it down, almost immediately began to feel my senses dull. Still, the pain was nearly unbearable. I found myself mesmerized as Prava carefully and deliberately treated my injury. She pulled a needle and thread from her bundle and went to work stitching my wound. I watched her hands closely, so delicately weaving the needle in and out of my skin as if it were effortless. I couldn't help but stare at her offhand, which she made such use of, even despite missing 2 of her fingers. My head felt fuzzy. How do you, I asked, know how to do this? Prava shook her head, continuing the pace of her work without missing a beat. Aram, she said, you didn't forget, did you? My obligation was medicine. Before, anyway. With my wound cleaned, stitched, and rebandaged, I finally felt my adrenaline begin to subside. I was breathing easier, sitting upright against the wall. Prava came to her feet, cleaning her hands, and looked down at me. The silence was deafening. I told her everything. What happens now? Help me understand, she said finally. Every night for weeks, you've been using your post as sentry, as cover so that you could sneak into the well. I nodded slowly. Why? Her voice was eerily calm. I remembered trying to explain it to Tala. What will it matter if I tell her my reasons? She won't believe me. Try! There were people, I began carefully. Humans that lived in the well, maybe a long time ago. There was a famine, just like ours. Thousands died. Ava narrowed her eyes. I kept talking. But at some point, they left, and they went somewhere better. Somewhere without hunger. Without ancestors. I sat up straight and looked at her with conviction. A better world, Prava. I gestured with my hands inarticulately, but the pain in my chest caused me to immediately regret it. I've been following their trail, trying to find it, to end this famine. I trailed off. Prava simply stared at me. Then, after a moment, she spoke. So then, you've really seen it? Get inside that place? With all those buildings? What? Empty rooms, going on and on for as far as you can see? What do you know, Prava? Time seemed to slow down. I felt a chill go over my entire body. Wait. What? Why would she... How could she know? Prava, I sputtered out, trying to keep my voice calm. I didn't say anything about what it looked like. How do you know that? Prava froze. Her eyes darted around. It's just rumors, Aram, she said. I hear a lot of them. Can that really be it? It's just rumors? How would anyone know what the well looks like? Prava considered me for a moment. Suddenly, her calm demeanor seemed to break, and it looked like something occurred to her. Aram, she said, her voice severe. You've broken the island's law. What will they do to you if they find out? I grimaced and shook my head. She's a part of this now. Will she want me to turn myself in? I need to get out ahead of it. I've already given you my reasons, Prava. I'm doing this for everyone. I'm not putting anyone else in danger. It's just me. So, I swallowed hard. Please, Prava. I can't tell anyone. Not Kanari. Not Sachita. I didn't want you or anyone else to know. I stopped, let my words hang. After an agonizingly long moment, Prava tilted her head and broke the silence. Okay, she said, a sudden calm overtaking her tone. I'll keep your secret, Aram. Immediately I felt relief wash over me. Really? Really? That was all it took? Being honest with people you care about who care about you? After being certain that everything I'd worked so hard for had fallen apart completely, hope that I would be able to proceed with my mission was returning to me. But, she continued, it won't be free. Uh-oh. Prava? I said timidly. I realized then how little of her I could actually see. She was a silhouette, the light of the stars casting her face in shadow. I heard only her voice. It was a voice I'd never heard her use before. Maybe this is selfish. I suppose I honestly don't care what it is you've been doing down there. I don't care who you're doing it for or why. I care about one thing, Aram. One person. Him. Kanari. I love him, Aram. I love him so much that I would die for him. So we'll make a deal. I'll keep your secret. I'll even continue to treat your wound. And I won't say anything about what happened tonight either. But in exchange, when I ask you to do something for me, you listen to me. When I ask you to talk to Kanari, you do exactly as I say, and you don't ask questions. I was almost too stunned to speak. I opened my mouth to respond, but she kept talking. And if you refuse, well, you can imagine, Aram. My heart was pounding. I wasn't sure I recognized the person standing over me. The cold way she spoke, with malice in her tone. I mean, look, she almost saw him die. All her worst fears went through her today. She's hungry. He's hungry. I totally get it. Is this really Prava? Yes! She's joking, right? That's it. It must be a joke. Prava, stop messing around. I started. She raised her hand to silence me. The words caught in my throat. Are we clear? She said, her voice like ice water. I tried to think of something, anything I could say in this situation. She has all the leverage, all the power. She could find the nearest peacekeeper and turn me over in minutes. Okay, dude. This is an incredible deal for you. Would she do that? Strangely, I thought then about the terminal ancestors. The feeling of being surrounded, trapped, the knowledge that if I made a single mistake, I would die, even with that terrible memory so fresh in my mind. I never felt more helpless than I did in front of Prava at that moment. Oh, look at that. The claws are in the art. Very good, very good. As the girl I'd known for more than a decade held a secret over my head that could ruin my life, I nodded, terrified, and said nothing more. They're holding hands, she thought. A girl sat crouched on the sidewalk outside her home. Head resting on her knees, she looked with fascination down the street. A young boy and his mother here, a daughter and her father just there. Hand in hand they walked, as if compelled not to let them go. They would walk along the street and then disappear from sight, all the while still holding their hands clasped tightly. What had those children done to earn it, to earn such a reward? The girl shut her eyes and opened them again slowly. She shifted her weight and felt her stomach ache with hunger. She focused her thoughts on that discomfort as it passed over her. It hurts. I feel dizzy. All the while, child and parent passed her by, giving only the slightest of glances in her direction. How many meals had she tossed aside, the girl wondered. The last 5 or 6, maybe. It should be enough. Enough to make up for it. Standing slowly and dusting herself off, the girl looked up and behind at the second-story window of her home. It's time. She'll want me back now. Rava, dear, are you listening? Write it down like I told you to. The girl sat at a small desk, her mother kneeling behind her and watching over her shoulder intently. There was an open book in front of her, and the girl scratched away with a charcoal stick. The page was nearly full already, with intricate sketches of bones and tissue, notes about their function littering the margins. What had her mother said? The girl wasn't sure. She started writing on instinct anyway. When she had finished, her mother looked it over and nodded, smiling. That's right, dear. She put her hand on top of the girl's head and rubbed it gently. This part of her lessons the girls always looked forward to. Oh, Prava, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how well you listen. Your sisters, don't you know? They only pretend to listen. The girl nodded, knowing that was the right response. It didn't take them far. Remember, Prava, they couldn't do it when the time came. Having 2 daughters break the obligation. She felt her mother's hand tighten on her head. But you, her words softened. You're special. You're my light. Don't you know? The girl shook her head. She knew it would keep her mother talking. You're my favorite, Prava. You've always been my favorite. The girl felt her hands tremble. Wishing she could hear that again, she repeated her mother's words to herself, over and over in her head as she continued her lesson. Perhaps it distracted her. Perhaps her pen slipped. But at some point she wasn't writing the correct words. Prava. That was all it took. Her mother's voice was different now. Prava, what are you doing? The tenderness had gone. Look at this. I told you exactly what to write, you dense girl. The girl's mother grasped her writing hand and pushed it hard against the table. Oh no. It hurt. Scratch it out and start again. The girl cursed herself for having been so distracted by the praise. The lesson had been tainted. All the girl could hope was that if she made no further mistakes, the rain might clear and she would feel her mother's sunlight once more. I'll skip my next meal too. That will forget this. So the girl put her head down and kept writing. In those first years of general education, the girl thought often about the time spent living with her mother. When she felt alone and how, amongst so many strange children, she thought of warm memories they shared. When she did well and everything aligned. Those evenings after her lessons. If her mood was right, her mother might brush her hair. The girl tried her hardest to prove that she was capable. To prove that she could take her mother's obligation of medicine like she wanted. But she held a growing fear that when that day came, she would be deemed unfit. When she thought about what her mother would say, her old habits came easily, pretending to eat her meals and throwing them away when backs were turned. With time, even the warm memories lost their color. This afternoon, children, her lecturer had said one day, you will be permitted to see your birth parents. They've been asked to come to the Lyceum, and you may spend time with them until sunset. So many children had been ecstatic, running off to wait by the archway where they were to meet. They were eager, like children only were, to finally see their parents again after so long spent apart. As the sun dipped in the sky and bathed the courtyard in orange, the girl sat, hugging her knees, hiding. Somehow, in some way, she thought she might be relieved if her mother didn't come. So she hid, intending to wait until dark. But soon she heard voices and footsteps. She was afraid. Had they noticed she was missing? Had they come to take her? Instead, she saw 2 boys standing in front of her. Both seemed younger. Without reproach, they came to where the girl sat and said their names. The taller boy was Aram, and the shorter Kanari. The girl had seldom been approached by the other children, so she didn't know what to do. She couldn't even say her name back. But nonetheless, the shorter of the two put out his hand to the girl. Our parents are gonna be late. Do you want to come play with us? All at once, she recalled the sight of parent and child walking hand in hand down the street that day. And it compelled her, without really knowing why, to take his hand. You listening to me? Sachita's irritated voice snapped me back to attention. I was being so nice teaching you how to do this, and you're... Look at this. I can't believe it. Are you sleeping right now? It was midday, and the two of us were sitting at a small table in one of the temple's many back rooms. My head had slowly been sinking into my arms over the span of an hour, when I realized that I had indeed nodded off for a moment. I'm sorry, I groaned, sitting upright again. The motion of it tugged at my stitches, and I felt a flash of pain. Okay, so we're back to Aram? I'm listening. Sachita seemed skeptical, narrowing her eyes. I was listening, I admitted, embarrassed. I'm exhausted. Sachita laughed. Did you stay up late? She asked, putting a finger on her chin as if deep in thought. I thought about my response. It's more like... I have been pushing myself for weeks, and it's finally caught up to me. Sachita crossed her arms indignantly. Well, I'd say your behavior in the presence of a sunlight maiden is borderline heresy, she said. She looked aside thoughtfully, tapping her fingers against her upper arm. Yes, indeed. I think I read somewhere that it's a sin, too. Oh, yes, that sounds right. I tried to laugh, but I coughed instead, and my chest ached. I rubbed my eyes. I'm sorry. Start over, really. I want to learn this, I said. The colors come back. You know, Aram, as much as I enjoy giving you supplementary education and basic life skills, I have to admit I'm curious as to why you're only asking me now. I could have given you some archimancy tips any time if you had just asked. It's all I do, you know. You've seen how bad I am. Just recently I found myself in a situation where having those skills might have really made my life easier. Ah. I felt self-consciously at the tatters and imperfections of the menage I was wearing. Markings that constantly threatened to reveal it wasn't my own. If my archimancy had been better that night, well, so many things might have been avoided. Made me realize how far behind I've fallen. Well, when's the last time you practiced? Seriously practiced? I don't know, maybe a year? God above. Well, don't worry too much. You can get pretty far with just knowing a few materials well enough. I'm sure I can whip you into shape soon enough for that. You asked about cloth, right? I'm in your hands. We passed the remainder of the hour as a makeshift lecturer and student. Sachita tried her best at first to teach me the basic physical properties of cloth, but when numbers were involved, I found it rather difficult to absorb the information. At a certain point, she gave up explaining and resorted to a visual demonstration. That took me somewhat further, but quickly the limits of my muscle memory became apparent. By the time she gave up altogether, there was a small mountain of cloth by Sachita's knees. On my own feet was a small pile of string, dust, and one piece of textile that might have been cloth if you squinted. As always, Sachita found my pathetic attempts at archimancy endlessly amusing. It wasn't much, but it was progress. I looked at the sky and realized my shift at the kiln was quickly approaching. I remembered the other reason I'd come to see Sachita that day. Hey, Sachi. Rava, lately she's... You think... Would you say that she treats Kanari like a child? I wouldn't say that. She's... well, she cares about him a lot. She's a little possessive of him, maybe. I've always thought it was mostly harmless. I don't know. Well, Aram, I do know a great way you could find out. Yeah. Seriously, why don't you just ask Kanari if it bothers him? But... oh, that's right. The two of you wouldn't dare broach such a personal topic. We talk about things. Listen, it's not about him. I'm worried about Prava. Huh? Sometimes with him, she's just relentless. Lately, I think especially she's been taking it too far. Well, she's still holding on to a lot, you know? She probably still feels guilty even after all this time. You really think so? Well, that was such a long time ago. How could she still be closer with her than I am? Have you asked her? Would you? Well, you have me there. I do try, but she'll never talk to me about Kanari. It's like off limits or something, I see. Oh boy. Tangled webs we weave. The conversation slowly came to a close, and eventually I stood and gathered my things to leave. I began to wave goodbye, but saw that Sachita was still sitting. What do you have planned for the rest of today? I asked, curious. Sachita gave an apathetic smile. Well, today it seems it's fallen on me to clean the maidens' quarters. The whole thing. I was surprised. Just you? That seems like a lot of work. How did that happen? Sachita looked off to the side and gave the faintest of laughs, a smile fading. Sometimes the other girls hide the ledger from me so I can't sign up for any cleaning. They think it's quite funny when I'm stuck doing the work of a dozen people in one afternoon. Sachita's tone was weary, almost defeated. Everyone here is on edge lately, so I can't say I'm surprised that I'm on the receiving end. Felt my anger stir. It's not fair. I'll stay and help, I said, moving as if to put my belongings down again. Sachita smiled. No, you won't. You have work. And grimaced. She wasn't wrong. I couldn't stay. You're sweet, but it's just cleaning. I'll finish it eventually. Sachita stood and walked up to me. Thank you. Get lost. She put her arms around my chest. Boys aren't allowed here. We embraced for a short moment before she let me go, turning with a wave over her shoulder. It hurt. I saw her out of the corner of my eye. Prava was at Kanari's side as always. They stood close in line, speaking quietly. It seemed to be one-sided. Prava was speaking and Kanari was nodding along. All the while his expression was weary, his eyes downcast. Quickly, she noticed me and turned her head. For a moment, I thought about looking away, but the instinct to do so made me feel ashamed. It's Prava. She's my friend. Why am I afraid? I met her eyes. The look she gave me sent shivers across my body. It was the same cold look she'd given me that night. She wants to talk. I could only hold her gaze for so long. Soon I had resumed my march up and down the file. Are you even listening? Is he? I don't know. I'm afraid we're going to have to find out next time, citizens, because as much as I'd like to keep going, I have to do a couple of things briefly, so yes, yes. I will see you whenever we meet again, citizens. This has been a Song of Sunlight. I am super hyped to see where this goes. I'm hoping I'm not like a minute from the end of this chapter. I don't know. We'll find out. Until we meet again, though, I'm afraid it's going to have to be farewell.